In a land veiled in the twilight of the ages, nestled between hills and rivers that sang with life, there dwelt a man named Eber. He tilled the soil and reaped the sheaves of golden wheat under the watchful gaze of the sun and the gentle whispers of the wind. Each day bore the weight of solitude, for Eber had no kin to call his own. One sun-drenched morning, as Eber wiped the sweat from his brow, a traveler came down the road. His feet bore the dust of many paths, and his eyes shone with a curious light. Halting at Eber's field, he leaned upon the fence and watched in silence. "Fair tidings to you," called out Eber. "What brings a lone soul to these parts?" "Fair tidings," replied the traveler. "I seek naught but the grace of company and a place to rest these weary legs." "Rest here, then," said Eber, motioning to a spot beneath the wide arms of an oak tree. "The noonday sun is relentless, and the tree offers its shade freely." The traveler nodded and seated himself, his gaze following the steady passages of Eber's toil. Time slipped by, the only testament to its passing being the slow descent of shadows eastward. "You work the land with great care," observed the traveler after some time. "It is all I know," replied Eber. "The land gives us what we need if we are but willing to listen and tend to it." "And what of companionship?" inquired the traveler. "Does the land provide for this as well?" Eber paused, leaning upon his hoe. "In its own way it does. A man learns much from the silence, yet sometimes the whisper of the leaves does little to quiet a restless heart." "I have found," said the traveler, "that the universe speaks in myriad ways, sometimes even through the lips of a stranger or the helping hand of a neighbor." Eber nodded, considering this. "Perhaps you are right. I have been so intent on my own plot of earth I may have forgotten to look beyond it." As days merged seamlessly into weeks, the traveler became a fixture beside the field. The two shared in the labor, and as they worked, their conversation meandered like the nearby brook, sometimes playful, sometimes deep and full of hidden currents. "Do you not yearn for more power?" asked Eber one day, as they partook of a modest meal beneath the oak. "Every man seeks influence, does he not?" "To seek power for its own sake is like chasing the horizon," the traveler said, breaking his bread. "But to become powerful in benevolence, in knowledge and understanding, this is how we help the universe experience more. This is how we sow seeds that grow into trees beneath which we may never sit. And these seeds, how does one begin to sow them? By recognizing that to elevate oneself, one must elevate others. Offer your strength as a refuge, your wisdom as a guide. What you impart to others will return to you 100-fold. Eber mulled over these words as the days grew colder and the harvest came to an end. With the field bare and the winter's chill encroaching, he found his thoughts often returning to the traveler's teachings. One evening, as frost began to kiss the edges of leaves, a young couple from the neighboring village approached Eber's dwelling timidly, their faces etched with worry. "Good sir," the young man began, his voice faltering, "our child is stricken with a fever, and we know not what to do." The woman clutched a bundle closer to her, a barely audible whimper escaping it. Eber peered at the bundle, then at the faces before him. His heart, once closed in solitude, now heard a call he could no longer ignore. "Bring your child inside," he beckoned. "I may not have the knowledge of a healer, but together we can seek a way to ease his suffering." They settled by the hearth, and Eber rummaged through shelves of jars and bundles of herbs he used for various ailments of the land. The traveler, too, sat beside them, offering words of comfort. As the night wended its moonlit path, the child's fever lessened, and tranquil breaths replaced whimpers. Relief washed over the young couple like rain upon parched earth. "You have given us more than we could have asked for," the young man said, his eyes bright with unshed tears. Eber shook his head. "It was the universe at work. We are but its hands." The traveler smiled, a knowing glint in his gaze. "And so," he murmured as dawn's light began to unfurl, "the universe experiences more. In the quiet communion of shared duty and newfound kinship, the comforting embrace of lumiality, the belief in the universe and the importance of every soul within it, germinated in the hearts of those gathered. And though it was never spoken aloud, it was understood. Through compassion and wisdom, through the nurturing of oneself and others, they were all part of an intricate dance, helping the universe to feel, to grow, to know itself."